Hi all. Welcome back to this tech walk on Azure DevOps, and this is said to be the session three. We have been hosting this event continuously on all Saturdays, and this is session three, and we have a couple of more sessions to be rolled out. I'm Abdul Rasheed Feroz Khan. People who are new to this tech walk on DevOps. I'm Feroz shortly, and I'm a Microsoft MVP and MCT on Azure, leading up with a group of DearAzure and AzureNinjas as well. And of course, I'm the founder of CodeSizzler, a Microsoft vendor partner firm. We work on training, we work on consulting and IoT projects, especially on automation. And we do work with AI related projects as well. So my core expertise are said to be on Azure, AWS, and GCP. And I'm a Microsoft certified trainer as well for the past 4 years now. And we had been working with consulting, and we had been working with migrating the workloads for Azure, setting up hybrid cloud environments, etc. So that's about me. And yes, you can reach me over my email ID for any sort of questions. I'm available on Feroz at codesizzler.info. And you can also follow me on Twitter with TechFero. So with this, I would like to get on to this today's session. And before getting on to the session, I would request you people to be on mute. And in case if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hands, or you can even keep the text to be posted on the chat so that we can keep the questions to be answered. Well, so this session for today is said to be at infrastructure as a code on Azure DevOps. And this session, this series has been completely planned for infra and DevOps engineers, right? We have been focusing on development and operations team to be collaborating together. And we are focusing a lot towards the infra and automation components to be automated on Azure DevOps. So here in this session today, we'll be discussing about how you can keep your infrastructure to be automated, how you can handle Terraforms on Azure DevOps, how the template is going to be generated, and let's say how a simple web app is going to be hosted on Azure environment using Terraform. So I assume that you people have been working with Azure DevOps. If not, you can look for the previous recording on which we have covered about the basics of Azure DevOps. And today we are going to speak in detail about the infrastructure as a code option on Azure DevOps environment. We still have session 4, which is about provisioning Azure resource on Azure DevOps. And we still have the config management on Azure DevOps as well for VM. So this is going to be on Chef and Puppet management. And provisioning Azure resources about Ansible, using automated tools still more than Terraform on Azure DevOps. So that's going to be session 4 and session 5. So we are looking forward for you people to join in the further sessions as well. And with this introduction, I would like to take it forward to the today's topic, which is about deploying infrastructure to Azure. Any sort of infrastructure options, let's say that you have your infra component to be on Azure, right? Spinning up a virtual machine or spinning up a container environment, all these things can be done on most commonly on these three ways. That's you can go with Azure portal. I'm sorry. Yeah. So you can go with Azure portal where you just stick to the GUI environment. You can say that you will create a new resource and you can mention the data center region where the service is going to be deployed as such. Let's say, for example, I can create a VM, or if I need to spin up a group of virtual machines, I can say that I need a VM skill set to be deployed. And the most simplest way that we can work on is to be with Azure portal. And there are folks like when you work for some clients, you might not get your access for Azure portal. Instead, they give you with the subscription credentials, and you need to work with a CLI environment, or you need to work with a PowerShell environment, or even the developers should work on generating the ARM templates using Visual Studio, and they used to host the services on Azure using ARM templates. So that's the other way that we used to work across. Most probably the developers would be working on ARM templates, and ARM template is a much way simpler way you can work with Azure. You can just go with the templates which are already available. Microsoft focuses a lot on GitHub. They have their templates which are available, and you can host your environment. You can host your services, anything It's not just about the VM or app service, any services that you have on Azure, let's say Event Grid, Event Hub, right? Your, let's say even still Data Factory, and all these things can be spinned up using the ARM templates, which are available on GitHub. So you can just take it as a reference. You can take the reference which are available on the GitHub environment. You can edit the ARM templates, and you can always deploy it by changing the subscription ID and the data center region and the resource group that you're looking for, right? So those, I mean, those few parameters alone has to be changed. That's about the ARM template, people who are new to it. And here goes your Terraform. Terraform is said to be a tool. Terraform is a tool which helps you to build, you can change, you can set the versioning, and you can safely deploy your infrastructure using Azure DevOps environment. Terraform is most widely used to do the version controlling for the infrastructure code that you can host across. So the Terraform can manage the existing infrastructure environment, or it can even go with popular cloud service providers. It might be AWS or it might be Azure. You can just use this tool where you can build the template. You can keep the things to be automated. Like let's say I need to spin up an app service with a SQL database, and I need to ensure that the scaling option also gets added up with a metrics when the CPU percentage goes higher or when the CPU percentage goes down, something like that. So in those cases, I can use Terraform. Terraform will come up with a config file. You will get a configuration file. In short, we call it as HCL. You get a file with HCL extension, and you will be having all your configs to be added up. And Terraform will be working as a component which runs, let's say, a single application, or it can even run multi-container applications like the one which we were working before. So you can host, either it can be on a single cloud again, or it can be even a multi-cloud environment. You can set between Azure and Azure Stack, or even between Azure and your on-premise environment. So the Terraform generates an execution plan, and it describes about what you need to deploy, what is going to be your desired state that it's going to come across, and you're also going to mention about when the scaling is going to happen, right? It's all up to you. The only thing that Terraform is going to do is that it's going to maintain the versioning, it's going to build, it's going to change the parameters that you need, and it executes the file which you have given towards the host environment. Like let's say it can be Azure, or it can be on Azure Stack, anything. So as the configuration changes, Terraform is able to determine what all the changes that you have done. It can set a versioning. Let's say the changes which you're going to do now is set to be version 1, and you can mention the next change, which is set to be version 2 or something. And you can execute the plans whenever there's a change that has happened towards your infrastructure. So that's exactly where we go with the Terraform. And apart from Terraform, you also have the automation where you can do with Ansible that we will be covering on the further sessions. So here with this, let's get in detail, right? This is how your Terraform is gonna work across. You can use your Terraform where you can write, you can plan, and you can create the infrastructure options as a code. Yeah. So you can host your environment. You can just same like your ARM templates. You can have a set of code, right? And you will give the subscription ID. You will give the resource parameters that you have, and this will be connected to the Azure environment. And let's say if you want to make any sort of changes, you can just do it, and you can give the infrastructure's code to be available on the Terraform, and that will be available on the CD pipeline. So this CI and CD pipeline will do the commit operations whenever the changes has been done. So here you will be having your local PC, or you will be having your local computer where you're going to download. So I mean, develop the template. You'll be commonly having a file called as terraform.tf. You will just plan it. You will write the code, and you will create the infrastructure. And this workflow will do the commit operations whenever there's a change that happens on the code that you're going to give. That's exactly how the Terraform is going to work for you. So this is how the Terraform template looks like. See, this Terraform template is simply where it's going to create a VNet. You can find we have a VNet, and it's going to create a subnet inside the virtual network. This VNet will be coming up with a name. We are going to come up with the config, which has been given with a VNet name, and the address space, like let's say the prefix for the address space, like 10.0.0/16 something, and the data center location where it's going to be deployed. And we are also mentioning the resource group name, right? It can take some resource group name. So these things have been configured, and you're also declaring the resource name along with the subnets, right, and the address prefix for the subnets as well. Even more, you can write the template to be developed like, let's say the security groups to be added up for the virtual network that you're going to deploy right towards the subnets. Okay, so those things can be done. Now, this can be the same case when you write about the app service plan. You need to say that what sort of app service you're going to create. Is it going to be Windows, or it's going to be Linux, or it's going to be on a Docker environment? You still need to say that you will come across mentioning about the app service plan, right? It's going to be standard or it's going to be free. So we need to develop the templates, and this template is the one which is going to spin up the services on Azure environment. So with this introduction, right, let's go with the environment parity. See, this is where you have the developer and the operations team. You're going to develop the code. You're going to keep it on the developer environment, and you will have the stage and the production environment as well. And this, excuse me, this will help you to come up with the same Terraform code to be available. You can also replace the dedicated staging. Like, let's say you want to come up with some changes on the code environment, you can do it here. And this infra will be provisioned automatically when you create a release and you're going to release it across. So you can create a release on multiple versioning using Azure DevOps environment. Well, so with this introduction, I would like to go with a demo of deploying infrastructure using Terraform. So we will be working on a demo where I'm going to create a web app. Okay. So in this lab, we will make sense about how the open source tools like Terraforms can be leveraged. Just to make it simple, again, we'll be going up with a template. We have Azure DevOps Labs, which has been given by Microsoft. We will go with a template, and we will use a Terraform template to call the infrastructure as code, and we will automate the deployments in cloud with Terraform and Azure pipelines. So let's take it forward. Please keep me written on the chat panel if you have any sort of questions, or you can even keep it to be noted up. This lab should not take me more than 20 to 30 minutes. So once when I'm done with the lab, I'll stick to the questions of yours. So to get started, you need to ensure, just same like the previous session, you need to have an Azure account. And in case if you haven't signed up with Azure DevOps Labs, please go with AzureDevOpsLabs.com. And I mean, you have a DevOps generator provided by Microsoft, and you can sign up for your account over there. So let's go here. I'll say Azure DevOps demo generator.azurewebsites.net. So this is the one which I told you. So you can go up here for this lab environment. You have projects which have been given up with the templates. Okay. And let's click on sign in here. There we go. So here I'm going to give up a project name, and this was already covered, right? We were giving a heads up about your DevOps environment, your what is your repos, what is your pipeline, and why you need an organization, all those things. So still you can find that I have already created an organization, and I'll be using the same. You can find your it as you have AzureNinjas Tech Walk, right? Let's select this, and I'll give up a project name here. Yeah, so let's say AzureNinjas demo 3. And let me select a template. Let's say choose template. And in DevOps Labs, you should be able to see Terraform. Can you find this? So I have Terraform here. This Terraform template is going to give me a web app. Okay, you will be having a code for a web app which can spin up the app service. And I just need to work on the variables where I will mention the subscription ID. I need to mention the service principal to be created. Okay, so those things alone we'll be working on. Let's select this Terraform, and I'll say select template. And there we go with creating a project. Okay, so let's click on create project here. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Let's wait until the project gets created.
Not able to hear.
Hey, I was waiting for the project to be created.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. So here you can find that the project has been created. So once when you click on navigate to the project, you'll be getting landed up on the Azure DevOps environment, where you can find the project which has been created, and you'll be having your, your repos and your pipelines and everything. So let's say navigate to project, and there we go. So here, this is the project which we have created, and you can just go to the repos where you can find the code that's available. Okay, so you can click on the repos, which will help you to find the master. You can find the Terraform code. Okay, the different sort of codes which has been given from the template. So let's click on the repos here, and here we go. So this code, I mean, you can find that we have something called as paths and limited, right? This solution file is just an example where it has a e-commerce website, a .NET Core solution file with an e-commerce website, which you'll be using to examine your Terraform file, okay? And that will help you to provision the Azure resource. This solution file, let's make it simple, right? This solution file is going to be hosted using Terraform on your Azure DevOps environment. So let me select this master and I'll switch towards the Terraform which we have. Can you find this? We have Terraform. Let's switch to the Terraform branch, and there you can find the Terraform file which I told you. Okay, you'll be having a web app Terraform file. We normally call the Terraform with a format called HCL. That's your HashiCorp configuration file that we have. So let's switch to this Terraform. And here in this Terraform, let's click here. Can you find this? We have this webapp.tf. So this is a Terraform configuration file, and inside this you can find your resource group components, your access keys, your storage account. See, let's make it simple. The required version of the Terraform is going to be 0.11. It's going to come up with a storage account name, and the storage account will have a container name. We're going to call up from the variable. Okay, we'll give the container name here, and it's also going to retrieve the key, and you have the access key with it. So in simple, this Terraform file that you can find here, right? This webapp.tf is where you're going to deploy an Azure resource group. Yeah, I could say here, see, we are going to deploy a resource group named pull Terraform, and the location is going to be at West Europe. You're going to have the app service plan, let's say some app service plan name, some unique name will be created with with an identifier calling it as pull Terraform 0123, something like that. And you'll be having the data center location, which is said to be the same, West Europe. And the resource group name is the one which is going to be called from here. So you declare a variable and you're going to call the same for the other definitions. So the app service plan is going to be free again. We are going to use F1. And here's the app service name and the data center location where it's going to be deployed as such. If you want to learn more about Terraform, you can just search for azure.microsoft.com. In documents page, you have a lot of definitions, and you have documentations which briefs about what is Terraform, how you can authenticate using Terraform, using MSI, using Azure CLI environments, using Service Principal. Okay, so you can just find it on the azure.microsoft.com. So now let's build the application using Azure CI pipeline. Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah. Well, so let's go to the pipelines. Here I will click on the pipelines, and you can see the Terraform CI. Can you find this? So we have the Terraform CI. You can select this and you can click on edit, where you can build the pipeline with the compile operations of your .NET Core project. Can you find this? So the .NET task, which has to be lined up with dependencies, with build, test, and publishing the build operations, has been given up over here. So you can just make sense here. And furthermore, you can just find see, it's going to run with agent job 1, and we are going to come up with the application build. We need to publish the Terraform files. I showed you the webapp.tf file, right? It should be available in the CD pipeline. So your source folder, when you go for this copy Terraform files, you can find that it copies the Terraform files to the artifacts that you have. And the source folder is available. I mean, inside Terraform we have it. It's there available. Let me make it simple. I will show you here. Excuse me. So let's go for the repos, and inside this Terraform, can you find this? We have webapp.tf, and that's exactly what we have located here on the source folder. Furthermore, you can just go to the queue where you can find the trigger builder. Okay, so this will trigger the build operations. And once when the build succeeds, you can find the zip file which will be available on your pipelines. Okay, so let's click on queue and let me say run this. Can you find this? You have it here. And let's go here. We can wait for the job to be built. Excuse me. As it goes, you can find that it gets the dependency files to be restored. It does the build and the test operations. Let me have the questions at one stretch. Please keep your questions to be written on the chat panel. I'll complete the demo and then I will stick to your questions. Okay, the first champ is getting written. So instead of Visual Studio, we are using the Azure DevOps environment, which examines the file, and we are building we are examining the Terraform file where the code has been given. Okay, looks like I'm getting some questions. Let me hold on. Hi, so Pratim Roy, free trial ends in 30 days. Is there a low-cost student subscription to buy? Not exactly. There's nothing a student subscription which are available. You can still activate another free trial account with a new Microsoft account. So that's possible. Hi, Ramkrishna. This Terraform file will deploy a web app and a sample code on it. You're right. Yes. So we have given the Terraform file will just do the app service to be created. It will create a storage account, a resource group. Okay, those things alone. Provided the solution file, that's the paths and limited solution file, which I showed you, right? That's going to be done by the DevOps environment, the Azure DevOps environment. So that's exactly where we have the code which works on Azure CI and CD pipelines. Cool. Okay, so the build operation is done. It's getting done. Build succeeded. Once when this is done, you can just go to the release. I mean, in your pipelines, you can find here we have release, right? You can click there, you can find Terraform CD. So there you will be having the task and you will be having the variables, okay, and the retention as well. So when you click on the tasks, right, you'll be having some the number of tasks which will be available based on the project code which has been given. And that will say like the Azure CLI components to be installed. It will speak about the PowerShell script to get the storage keys, storage account keys, and what are the tokens that you need to replace. You can also find that you'll be installing Terraform, you'll be initiating it, you will plan, and you will apply the changes that you have over there. So those things will be available on the CD pipeline. Well, so here we go. Yeah. So now let's go. We will click on the pipelines and click on the releases. You can find Terraform CD. Can you find this? So here you will create Azure resource using Terraform as a part of your deployment. Okay, you will be having this pipeline which deploys the solution file, paths, and limiter. So the previous thing is that you had the testing file, you had the complete solution file has been packaged together as a zip file, and now we are going to deploy it. Okay, so let's go up here to the Terraform CD and let's click on edit. And there you can find the tasks. Okay, I told you, right? You'll be having jobs and tasks which will be available on the pipeline. So when I click on this, you can find the different tasks like initiating your Terraform, calling the CLI, replacing the app service keys, also storage keys. Okay, so those things can be seen here.
Firoz, you're on mute. Firoz, you're on mute.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know how it went on mute. Okay. Okay. See what I was covering here is that I was here in the Terraform. Okay, the agent job is where we are going to say using which agent pool you're going to deploy it as such. So I'm using Visual Studio here. And the first job that you can find here, the Azure CLI to deploy a required Azure resource is the one which is going to help you out on the subscription to be selected, the service principal to be created. Okay. And in that particular subscription, we are going to say that it has to create a resource group. It has to create a storage account, a container, and it has to retrieve the storage account key as well. So here is the, let me say the CLI commands which you can find. Well, so let me sign in. So configuring the service connection where you'll be having the service principal to be created. So that's done. And okay, this is done. Let's go with the PowerShell script to get the storage account key. Okay, so by default, the Terraform stores the state locally in a file named terraform.tf state that you can find it on the repos. And when working with the Terraform in team, you will use the local files, which makes the Terraform usage to be much complicated. You will be here using this CLI commands, which can retrieve the keys. It can replace with the variables which are available. Okay, your account name, your account key, your storage container name. Okay, so those things will be given out. Let's go with the next job, which is about Azure PowerShell script to get the storage key. So let's select this, and I'll say the connection type is going to be either you can use the older version, that's your classic, or you can even go with the ARM one. So here, let me stick to the ARM, and I will select the subscription as well. That's your free trial with the service principal. So let's select this. And here you can find that we have the script which is going to fetch the storage account into the Terraform file. So the key with the resource group name, okay, and the variable which is going to come up with. So these things are there, and let's replace the tokens. Okay, you will be replacing the tokens with the Terraform file that you have. So you can say replace tokens. You can find the Terraform file. In simple, I can just show you here. See, when I click on the Terraform, you can find the tokens here. Can you find this Terraform storage account, Terraform.tf state? Okay, so these things are going to be replaced with this task. Okay, the third task. And the next one that you can find is we are going to come up with installing the Terraform. So there we are going to set up the version
Feroz,
that
your
you have.
voice is not audible.
Hello, am I audible to this?
Yes.
Yes, audible.
You're audible, yeah.
Are
Okay.
audible.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much. Yeah, the one who said that I'm not audible, just check with your internet, please. Cool. Thank you. So here is about the versioning of your Terraform. And while running this Terraform and the automation, I told you, right, we will be having three things. That you're going to have the init, you're going to plan, and you're going to apply the changes that you have. So first we'll be initializing the Terraform, which is going to work with the directory. Okay, so here is the location of the config file that you have. The next is you're going to produce a plan for changing the resource to match the current configuration. So that you're locating here. And finally, you're going to apply the changes that's apply auto approve that you have here. So with these things, with the version, okay, you can even change the version later deployment. You can even change the versions that you have. So let's go up here, and I would say here the command is going to be initiated. And let's go with the container name and subscription to be given. So my subscription is going to be free trial. A resource group will be created with some unique name. Okay, pull Terraform, some resource group name will be created, and some unique storage account name as well. And here I'm going to give up the container name. Let me say the container name is going to be Terraform. So let's say, for example, the storage account is pull Terraform str, then the container will be like pull terraform.windows.core.net / it's going to create a container called Terraform. And there we'll be having the keys which can be retrieved with terraform.tf state. You can find here from this file, okay, key terraform.tf state. So this task runs Terraform commands. It looks to the TF files that you have given in the current working directory, and it will automatically download any of the providers that it's needed. The next is about Terraform plan. So here in the Terraform plan, you can give the provider, and you'll be having the command as well. And in the subscription, you can find we are going to stick towards a free plan, free trial that you're going to come up with. Sorry, excuse me. So the Terraform plan command is the one which is used to create an execution plan. It determines about what actions are to be achieved and what desired state configuration you're going to use as such. So let's select all these things, and we're going to validate and apply it using Terraform apply. See, command validate and apply it. And again, let's say the subscription on which it's going to be deployed. Yeah, there we go. And finally, your app service settings. You can say about the app service plan, I mean, some unique name and the subscription where it has to be deployed. So let's select the subscription. And here is some unique name which is going to be taken up. And now let's save, and you can create a release. Can you find this? You have save. So let's click on save. Demo for Terraform. Okay. Let's click on OK, and I'll create a release now. So let's say create release. And here it's going to be from the developer environment where it's going to do the changes, and it's going to be released. You can also select the versioning. We said the version on the Terraform. Okay, so let's select that. And I'll say create now. So release 1 has been created. You can see here. And this release will initialize the agent. It will initialize the job. Okay, you can find here, see, waiting in Azure pipelines, and it will release. It will create an app service as well. So it will download the artifacts from Terraform CI. Excuse me here. I'll click on logs to find the changes. Yeah, there you can find. Yes, there's some question. Hi, Marva. Will this Terraform file will be visible to all having a subscription access? Anyways, we can incorporate the blob security inside the pipelines instead of giving access manually to individual members. So is this fine? Not exactly. It's not going to be visible to all. I mean, except for people who are going to be available on teams. So here in DevOps, you have team which can be created, right? And there you can set the policy access. So only those people can see the Terraform file. We, speaking from an implementation point, we don't keep the Terraform file to be openly available. Chances are there that others can do some manipulation on the script that you have. So we don't keep it as opened up. You can just give up the access based on the policies that you have. Okay, it's not going to be available for everyone. It's going to be available only for certain members who are going to be available on your teams. I hope you're getting it. Hello.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Excuse me. So validating inputs and initializing with Azure. See, the module is getting imported here.
So this one get created on Azure Cloud or on Terraform?
This has been created on Azure Cloud Sohail. I'll just show you once when this gets done, right? I will show you. You can go to the Azure subscription and you can find that you will have the app service plan and your storage account, everything.
Okay.
Yep. How do we check for security components for app service which were deployed through Terraform? You can actually check it from the repos. You have the source code, right? You can do it from there. Or the other way is that you can even go with the activity, access control that you have. And from there, you can check for the security components that you have. Normally, we do it from the repos. You'll be having the solution zip file code. You're speaking about the security components for web app, isn't it? So that can be done with the code that you have in the repos environment. If your question is based on the access control level of security, then we will be doing it from the IAM on Azure portal. Can you find this? The app service is getting created. And once when this gets created, you can go to the Azure portal. You'll be having a resource group, and you can find the app service plan with the web app as well to be available. Okay, so here it's getting initialized, adding the files. Okay, good. Let's eventually go with the Azure portal and I'll click on the resource groups. Can you find this? We have pull Terraform. Okay. And inside this pull Terraform resource group, you can find the web app. Okay, it's getting initialized. You still would be able to find the storage account and everything as it goes. So here is the web app which has been created with some, I told you, right, some unique name, pull Terraform web 7.3 something. And okay, let's go here. It's done. Okay. Now let's click on the web app name here. You can find the paths unlimited template which has been deployed. There we go. Can you find this? So the e-commerce website that you have just with the template. So this is how we can do the automation, right? You can go with automation for the Terraform to be created. You can manage the infrastructure code. You can do CI and CD pipeline releases using Terraform. Well, so any questions on this demo. Reason to use Terraform over ARM templates. Okay, Terraform is commonly open source one, okay, which we have. And speaking from the DevOps environment, we have been using Terraform for a long while, okay, compared to the ARM templates. The reason that we stick towards Terraform is that both comes with the infrastructure coding for Azure, but there are some open source guys, there are some OSs flavors where people have been stick towards the QA analysis for longer days with Terraform. I don't find any sort of undertaking with advantages compared to ARM. Still, you can achieve all these things with ARM. So people either stick with Terraform or they go with Ansible or they even go with ARM. It's all, I mean, up to them. The benefits that you compare is said to be almost the achieving part is said to be seen. I don't see like any sort of plus or minus between the Terraform and the ARM that you have. Terraform is completely open source, yeah. But ARM is specific to Azure, that's true. But still, like when you speak about the possibilities where if you say that, is there something which I cannot achieve or nothing like that, it's going to be the same where you're going to reach. Terraform has been there for days together, like when we started working with cloud. ARM is the one which we recently achieved from the classic to ARM. Anything else? Excuse me. Okay, so once again, we'll be sharing the demo document on the, I mean, Teams. Okay, you can get it right from there, and you can also find the link to be available on the Teams itself. If you are not a part of the Teams channel, please feel free to get joined. Okay, and just as a continuation of this, we'll be discussing more about the Ansible also in the further sessions that we are going to come up with. Hi, Srinivas. Is unit test required to test configuration files? It's not a mandatory one to test the config file to go with unit test. But speaking from as an implementation point, you can do that. Actually, the test operations are automatically done with Azure DevOps environment. All right. Any other questions? Well, so let's close with that. If you don't have any questions.